Welcome back, my dear students. Today we are talking about Unit 4, the last unit in our science curriculum. That's talking about the structure and function of living organisms. And this unit consists of just one lesson talking about absorption and transmission of water and salts in plants. Before we start, we know that green plants are living organisms because they do something called vital process. Vital process means process that differentiate between living and non-living. We are living organisms because we do movement and sensation, feel, and we eat, drink, okay? And so plants make their own food by a process called photosynthesis process, and they feel, okay, and it has some types of movement. And the structure of the plant, the green plant, is two parts or two systems. The upper part that found in the top of soil or above the soil is called shoot system. And the lower part that found inside the soil or lower the soil is called root system. So the green plants consists of two main systems or two main parts. The shoot system that found in the upper part of the soil or above the soil, and the root system that found under the soil or in the soil that called root system. And as we see that the shoot system consists of leaves, stems, fruits, and the flowers, while the root system consists of roots and something called root hairs. And we said from a moment that the plant makes its own food by itself. And we know before that the plant is autotrophic. What's the meaning of autotrophic? It means that this living organism makes its own food by itself. But we humans are heterotrophic. Heterotrophic means we don't make our own food by ourselves, but we take it from plants or animals. So plants, green plants, are autotrophic, make their own food by themselves by a process called photosynthesis process. And to do their process, plant needs something. It's similar to cooking. Our moms, to cook food, need to bring meat and vegetables and some fruits from the market. Then she cooks the food. And the plant need sunlight, carbon dioxide, water to make photosynthesis process and make its own food that's called glucose or sugar and give us oxygen. So again, the green plants need to make a photosynthesis process to make its own food. And to do this, it needs sunlight coming from sun, carbon dioxide coming from air, water and mineral salts coming from soil. Then it will do the photosynthesis process and produce its own food that's called glucose or sugar and a gas called oxygen that help us in breathing. So how the plant will get the water and the mineral salts from soil? So we said the light will come from the sun and carbon dioxide will come from air, but water and the mineral salts will come from soil. And what is the part that is responsible for reabsorbing or absorbing water and the mineral salts from soil? Good, it's called root or root system. And this is a living part of root under the microscope. So this is a living part of the plant. And we colored it to differentiate between the different types of cells in the plant root. And as we see that the plant root consists of some layers. The first layer called epidermis, this is the outer layer, then the inner one called cortex, then endodermis, then something called xylem. Okay? So number one, the first layer called epidermis layer. It is the outer layer or the external thin layer that has root hairs. From epidermis, there is something emerging from it called root hairs, like our hairs. But we call it root hairs because it came from root. Number two, cortex layer. It is the second layer. It is a thick layer, as we see, more thicker than the epidermis. Epidermis is thin, but cortex is thick. That follows the epidermis. Number three, endodermis layer. It follows the cortex layer, as we see. Okay? Endodermis is a one layer like epidermis. So epidermis and the endodermis, both of them consist of one layer of cells, but cortex consists of more than one layer of cells. Then we have xylem or wood layer. It follows the endodermis, and we colored it with blue color. And the xylem is like the pipes that transfer the water from root to stem to leaves. So the water passes from outside from soil, moving through epidermis, then cortex, then endodermis to reach xylem, then from the xylem of root to the xylem of stem to the xylem of leaf. Root function. Number one, this is the definition and the importance of root in plants. Root, it is branched and extended through the soil particles. As we see in the figure, that the root system not moving in one direction, it moves in all direction in soil. Why? Because the root is searching for water. Okay, root importance number one is absorbing water and mineral salts from soil. So the roots moves through soil and searching for water and mineral salts all over the soil. So number one, let's take it number one, absorbing water and mineral salts from the soil, and also because the root is branching everywhere, it helps in fixing the plant in the soil. So the root system has two functions. Number one, it extends everywhere to search for water and mineral salts and absorbing them. Number two, fixing the plant in the soil. Okay, because there is wind, maybe wind will break down the plant. Now let's talk in detail about root hair. We said that the first layer of root called epidermis, and some cells of epidermis enlarged and become bigger in size, and we call it root hair. So root hair is one of the epidermis cells that become bigger in size and become taller than the normal cells like our hairs. So we call it root hair. So again, root hair is one of the cells of epidermis of the root. So its structure, it extends from epidermis cells of the root. Number two, it has a big vacuole. And we know before that vacuole is something found in the cell, and its function is storing water and the mineral salts and some wastes. So the root hair function is absorbing water and mineral salts, and because it has a large external area, it needs a big vacuole to store more water and mineral salts. Suitability of root hair for absorption. What is the physics or probabilities that Allah give it to root hair to absorb more water and mineral salts? Number one, its cell membrane has selective permeability. The root hair is a cell, plant cell, that has a cell wall, then a plasma membrane, then a cytoplasm, then a vacuole, as we study in line 4. So, the cell membrane has selective permeability. What is the meaning of selective permeability? The cell membrane selects what mineral salts can pass through it and go in the cell or enter the cell, and what can't pass through. So it selects what the plant needs, okay, and let it move through it and go in the cell, and what the plant doesn't need will keep it outside the plant. So selective permeability means allow some types of salts to pass according to the plant need. If the plant needs sodium, it will pass. But if the plant doesn't need sodium, it will not pass. Okay? Number two, the concentration of salt solution inside its vacuole is higher than in the soil. And to understand this point, we can explain it here. If we have 2 cups of water, okay, this is cup number 1, this is cup number 2, and if the 2 cups has the same amount of water, here there is 100 molecules of water, and here 100 molecules of water. So the question is, if we make something like a tube between the 2 cups, so the 2 cups have the same amount of water, and if we make a tube between the 2 cups, I will ask you, does the water will move from 1 to 2 or from 2 to 1, or will not move? You have a second to think. Does the water move between the 2 cups or not? Good. The water will not move from 1 to 2 or from 2 to 1 because the concentration of water in the 2 cups is equal. Okay? So the pressure of water in cup number 2 equals the pressure of water in number 1, or the concentration of water in number 2 equals the concentration of water in number 1. So water movement equals 0, no water movement. But after putting some salts, if we put here, for example, 30 molecules of salts, like NaCl, this is the table salt, we use it. And we put here 70 molecules of salts. Okay? So they are equal in the concentration of water. There is 100 molecules of water and 100 molecules of water. But here, 30 molecules of salts, here, number 1, 70 molecules of salt. So I will ask you again, does the water move from 1 to 2 or from 2 to 1, or the water will not move? And you have a second to think. Okay, the water will move from 1 to 2 or from 2 to 1. I think that the water will move from 2 to 1. So this is the water movement. water movement from 2 to 1. Why? We said that the concentration of water 100 equal. But when adding salts, salts make a difference in water concentration. How? You will study in prep that each water molecule will link it with a salt molecule. We said that the salt NaCl, this is the table salt. So each one of the water molecules will link it or contact with one of the salt molecules. So here in cup number 1, for example, we have 100 molecules of water and 70 molecules of salt. So 70 molecules of salt will link it with 70 molecules of water. So how many water molecules will be free, not linked to salts? Okay? How? Good. 30 free water molecules. Okay? And in the other cup, number 2, we have 100 molecules of water, 30 molecules of salt. So 30 molecules of salt will link it to 30 molecules of water. So there will be 70 free water molecules, not linked to any salt. So when I ask you, does the water will move? Does the water move? You said yes, it will move from 1 to 2 or from 2 to 1, and I said that the water move will be from 2 to 1. Why? Because the concentration of free water molecules in 2 is larger than the concentration of free water molecules in 1. Because here 30 molecules of salt linked to 30 molecules of water and 70 free molecules of water will be free to move. Okay? The linked water and salts can't move because they are large in volume. Each water attached to salts. So both of them can't move through the cell membrane. But the free water can move freely. So the 20 free water molecules in cup number 2 and 30 free water molecules in cup number 1. So the water will move from 2 to 1. Okay? Let's apply this example on the root hair and soil. If we consider that the cup number 2 is the soil and cup number 1 is the root, plant root hair. Okay? So the root hair of the plant contain less concentration of water, small amount of water, while soil contain large amount of water. So water will move from the high concentration from soil to the low concentration in root hair. And the difference in water concentration between soil and root hair is due to the difference in concentration of salts. Because soil has low concentration of salts. I know that this is hard to understand, but you can replay it again to understand it. So again, column number 2 represents the soil, and in soil we have small concentration of salts and high concentration of water. Low concentration of salts, high concentration of water. And in root hair we have high concentration of salts and low concentration of water. So the water will move from the higher water concentration to the lower water concentration, or from the lower salt concentration to the higher salt concentration. So always water concentration is opposite to salt concentration. When I said that this medium has high concentration of salts, this means it has low concentration of water, and vice versa. I hope you understand this point. So the concentration of salt solution inside the vacuum, the root hair, is higher than in soil. This question means that the concentration of salts in root hair is higher than the concentration of salts in soil. Good. This means that the concentration of water in soil is more than the concentration of water in the root hair, and the water will move from soil to root hair. So the question, as an answer, is to help water to be transported from soil to root hair by osmosis. What is the meaning of osmosis? Osmosis means movement of water from the higher concentration medium, the soil, to the lower concentration medium, the root hair, through the cell membrane. And this is the definitions of osmosis. We said osmosis is the transmission of water molecule through semi-permeable membrane. Selective permeability means semi-permeable. Okay? Selective permeability means semi-permeable. So transmission of water molecules through semi-permeable membrane from an area with higher water concentration to an area with lower water concentration. The second definition of selective permeability, it is the process by which the cell membrane of root hair allows some types of salt to pass according to the plant need. What the plant need will pass, what the plant doesn't need will not pass. And this is what we explain. The high concentration of salt solution means it contains a small amount of water, and this means that the solution has low concentration. Now let's talk about the transmission of water and salts from root to stem, then to leaf. In this figure, and I took it from Al-Mu'asir book, science book, this figure is talking about the rule of something called transpiration process in raising water upward from root to stem to leaf. We said that the root hairs of the root will absorb water and mineral salts from the soil by osmosis. Okay? The water will absorb it by osmosis, and salts will absorb it by selective permeability. So what will push the water upward against the gravity in the stem? Okay? The root takes the water and the mineral salts. The water and the mineral salts have to move upward against the gravity in the stem to reach leaves. So what will push the water and the mineral salts inside the stem? Or what will pull the water and the mineral salts towards the leaves? It is a force called transpiration. Transpiration is something like sweating in humans. Okay? If the temperature of this room increase, the amount of sweat will increase to get rid of the extreme or the increase in temperature. And also the plant have to lose water to get rid of excess temperature. Okay? So transpiration is a vital process by which the plant loses excess water in the form of water vapor. Through stomata. What is stomata? Stomata is pores, small pores found in leaves. Okay? If we look on the surface of leaves under the microscope, we will see a small pores called stomata. And through stomata, water vapor comes out. So stomata spread on the two surfaces of leaf and another green parts of the plant. Okay. So again, the question is, what make the water and the mineral salts move from the root to the stems to the leaves against the gravity? Okay, they are moving upward. The answer is the power of transpiration. And the transpiration is the losing of water from leaves through stomata. Okay? So, this is the way of movement of water. Number one, absorbing of water and dissolved salts from the soil through root hairs by osmosis or selective permeability. Then, transportation of water and dissolved salts to all parts of plants through xylem. We said that the root contains something called xylem, and the xylem of root connected to the xylem of stem, and the xylem of stem connected to the xylem of leaves. So it's something like the pipelines of water in the streets. Okay, number three, exit of water from stomata during the transpiration process, acting on pulling water to upward. So when the leaves of the plant lose water, this pulls the water from stem, and when the water in the stem is pulled, this pulls the water from roots. So losing of water upward help in pulling water from downward. Again, losing of water upward in leaves by transpiration pulls the water from downward, from stem and root. So during daytime there is transpiration taking place. So there is pulling of water and the minerals. But at night, especially in cold nights, there is no transpiration, so there is no pulling of water. Okay. And this is another figure that explains the power of transpiration in pulling water. As you see, that the water moves through root hairs, through roots to the stem to reach the leaves, then go outward by transpiration, and the pulling is continuous. Finally, we have an experiment that proves that the green plants as a living organism. ماشي. نعم. Finally, we have an experiment to prove that the green plants make transpiration process. Okay, so we have two pots. One of them contain a green plant with more than leaves, and the other pot contain no. We will cover the two pots with a glass container, and we will leave the plant exposure to the sun for hours, and after some hours we will notice that some water drops formed in the inner wall of the glass Now we have an experiment to prove that the green plants make transpiration process. We have two pots. One of them contain a green plant and the other doesn't, and we will cover them with two bell guards made of transparent plastic or transparent glass, and we will expose them to the sunlight. After hours, we will notice that some water drops is formed in the inner. Welcome back, my dear students. This is lesson 2 in unit 2 that is talking about dangers of electricity. We said before that electric energy is used in our houses to turn on light bulbs and more machines like television, refrigerator, and whatever. So what are the benefits of electric energy? As we see, cooking and preserving food, cooking use heat energy, and in house we convert electric energy into heat energy in oven, electric oven. Number 2, lighthouses and factories and streets, because the light bulbs or fluorescent lamp converts the electric energy into light energy. And operation of many machines in house or whatever, like radio, television, refrigerator, and washing machines. So these are the uses or benefits of electric energy. But also electric energy has some harms. But before we're talking about harms of electric energy, we have to know the difference between electric conductors and electric insulators. We already know this point, but let's ensure it. So electric conductors, they are materials that connect electric energy or allow electric energy to pass through them, like iron, aluminum, silver, gold. All metals are good conductors of electricity. While electric insulator or bad conductor of electricity, they are materials that don't allow electric energy to pass through them, like nonmetals and air, paper, clothes, whatever. So this is some notes about using electric conductors and electric insulator in our life. Number 1, electric cables or electric wires of machines are made of copper. Inside the electric wire there is copper, but outside the cable there is plastic. Why? Because outside the electric cable there is copper, because copper is good conductor of electricity and we need electric energy to turn on the machines. But the cables from outside is covered with plastic. Why? Because plastic is a bad conductor of electricity to insulate our bodies from electric energy and not harm. Now let's talk about the harms of electric energy. There are 2 types of harms or injuries caused by electric energy. Number 1, direct injury, and number 2, indirect injury. Direct energy when we exposed to electric energy directly, but indirect injury caused due to the occurrence of something worked by electric energy in indirect way. Okay, direct injury like electric fires, electric shock, and electric burn, while indirect injury like the injuries resulted from electric shock or electric burn. First of all, electric fires. What is the meaning of electric fires? From the title, electric fires, they are fires caused by electric energy. But how electric energy may cause fire? If we look to the electric machines that generates heat, there are some machines that convert the electric energy into heat energy, like electric oven, electric heater. When using electric machines that generate heat, the heat came out from the electric machine will make the temperature of the room more than the normal, more than 35 or 40. So by increasing the temperature of the room, the materials found in the room like clothes or wood may be burned and causing electric fire. So electric fires, they are fires that occurs as a result of an increase in the temperature of the electric machines. And these are some cases of electric fires. Number 1, placing an electric machine that generates heat close to flammable materials. As we see, this is electric heater that convert electric energy into heat energy. And this is a piece of cloth found on the electric heater, and this is wrong. you can't dry the wetting clothes by putting it near to the electric heater. Some people do this. This is wrong. Don't put the wet clothes near to the electric heater to dry it. No, because maybe after it will dry, its temperature will increase and causing electric fires. And flammable material mean materials that may burn by increasing its temperature, like clothes or paper or wood. Number 2, another cause of electric fire, plugging more than one machine to one socket. And some of us do this. This is a socket, and as we see, this man or this woman put more than one machine in the same socket. This will cause something called overload. Overload, this means that the socket can't handle the whole amount of electric energy that came out from it. This socket made for one machine. So you bought more than one machine. So more than one machine consume a lot amount or more amount of electric energy, and this large amount of electric energy will cause the increasing in temperature, causing electric fire. So please put one machine in one socket. Number 3, not disconnecting electric current from the electric machines that generate heat. After taking a shower in winter, all of us use some types of electric heaters or whatever to get warm, or when getting a bath, or something like sauna. Okay, in these cases we use electric heaters or electric machines that generate heat, or for heating the water. So after using these machines, you have to disconnect these machines. Don't forget to disconnect the electric heater or electric oven or whatever machines that generate heat. Because if you forget to disconnect it, by time its temperature will increase and may cause electric fires. Now, this is a compare between electric fires and regular fires according to some points. First of all, electric fires, as we say, it causes by electric energy, direct or indirect. But regular fires, like the fires caused by flammable materials like petrol fire and match, leaving a burning match, maybe burn the room, or oil lamps. So these are the causes of regular fires. But electric fires, as we say, caused by electric energy. So to put out these fires, what can we use? In regular fires, maybe use a blanket or use water to put out the fires. But in electric fires, to put out electric fires, you can't use water. Because, as we say, water is a good conductor of electricity. So if you use water to put out electric fires, the fire will increase. So how to put out electric fires? Good, we will use sand. Or if you are in the kitchen, you can use flour. Flour, the white substance used in making bread. And you can also put out oil fires or electric fires using flour. So, using water to putting out fires, not used in electric fires because water is a good conductor and will increase the fire. And in regular fires, you can use water, not a problem. Using sand in electric fires, and also you can use it in regular fire. Now, let's talk about another direct injury caused by electric energy. This is called electric shock. Electric shock is one of the dangers of electricity that occurs due to passing electric current through the human body. Through the human body, this means that you touch a source of electric energy. Okay, as we see, this is a simple electric circuit. This is a battery or the source of electric energy. This is electric wires, lamp, switch. But in this figure, we put the human body in the circuit. And as we see in the figure, the electric energy passes through the human body. So the question now, why we are injured by electric shock? Or why the human body is a good conductor of electricity? You can think for a moment. Okay, human body contains a lot amount of water, and this water contains mineral salts, and the mineral water found in our body is a good conductor of electricity. So our human body is a good conductor of electricity because it contains a lot amount of water. So this is what we talk about. The human body is a good conductor of electricity. Why? Because 70% of the body contains water, and water is a good conductor of electricity. So the electric shock happens when your body or a part of your body is a part of a closed circuit, as we see in the last figure. So where the electric current flows from a part of your body and it comes out from another part, you will be shocked by electric shock. So what are the reasons of electric shock? Number one, your body touches a non-insulated wire. Non-insulated wire means that the electric wire not covered with plastic. So when you touch it, you become a part of the closed electric circuit and will getting electric shock. So when touching a non-insulating wire, the electric energy will pass through your body because your body contains water and will find its way to the ground. This is an important note. To get electric shock, and this is a bad idea, it's important to know that getting electric shock is because that electric energy move from, for example, from your hand and goes through your body and came out from your legs to the ground. So if you are not having shoes or whatever that is made of plastic and your legs is directly connected to the ground, you will have electric shock. So if you are found on a plastic chair, or you are standing on a plastic chair, or you are wearing plastic shoes or whatever, the electric energy will not pass to the ground and you will not have electric shock. To have electric shock, the electric energy must pass through a part of your body to the ground. So if there is some insulating material between you and the ground, there is no electric shock. So your body touches a non-insulated wire that has an electric current, and another part of your body touches the ground. There is no insulator between your body and the ground. Number two, your body touches a non-insulating wire, while another part of your body touches electric conducting material touches the ground. In this picture, or in this image, this man is standing on a metallic ladder. So metallic ladder is a good conductor of electricity. So when he touches the electric wires, the non-insulating electric wires, the electric energy will pass through his body to the metallic ladder to the ground. So again, to have electric shock, the electric energy must pass from the electric generator or electric source, like electric wires, to your body, to the ground, must back to the ground. If the electric energy not passing to the ground, there is no electric shock. Finally, you touch two non-insulating wires that have electric current. Maybe you are wearing a plastic shoes, but you touch two non-insulating wires connected to electricity, of course. So electric energy, for example, will move from the right hand and came out to the left hand. So the electric energy found its path. It get in from a part of my body and get out from the other part. So in this case, you will have electric shock. The harness of electric shock is too dangerous, but it depends on two things. Number one, the strength of the electric current. Maybe you are using a battery, and the battery electric energy is too low. So if you touch an electric wire connected to a battery, in general you will not have electric shock because the amount of electric energy coming out from the battery is too low. But if you touch an electric wire found in the electric circuit of our house or in street, this is a large amount of electric energy. For example, the electric energy found in battery 1.5 volt. This is small amount of electric energy. But in our houses, 220. So there is a large difference between them. So touching electric wire coming from a battery will not affect our body, but touching electric wire coming from sockets in our house, 20 volt, will cause a large damage. And of course, if we touch electric wire found in the street with a power of 10,000 volt, of course we will die before we can feel it. Okay, number two, the time taken by electric current to pass through our bodies. We said that the amount of electric energy moving through the electric wires in our house about 220 volt, and this is a large amount of electric energy. But if this happened for somebody and he touched the electric wires found in our house for 1 second, it will not causing a large damage. Maybe it will be shocked or fall down, but it will not lead to death, for example. But if someone touches the electric wires in house that strength is about 220 for a long time, minutes, of course this will cause a large damage and may be die. Okay, so the damage or harms of electric shock depends on two things. Number one, the strength of electric energy, and this is dependent on the source of electric energy. Number two, the time that the electric energy take to pass through the human body. Finally, and number three, from the direct injury from electric energy, the electric burns. And electric burns, they are burns that results from electricity, because we have also regular burns. Regular burns when our mother cooking food and the flame came on its skin and causing a burn. This is a regular burn, but we are talking about electric burns that caused by electric energy. And this electric burn caused the damage of the body tissue like the skin. The skin is burns and damage. Reasons of electric burn. Number one, your body touch a source of electric current directly. So the electric burns happen as a result of electric shock. If you touch an insulating electric wire, so you will have two things. Electric shock, if the electric energy passes through your body to the ground, and also you will have electric burn, because in generally the electric wires when the electric energy moves through the electric wires for a long time, it becomes hotter and its temperature increases. So when touching it, you will have electric burn. Also, a part of your body touch a fire or a spark resulting from electric fires. We said that electric fires may cause due to the using of machines that generate heat for a long time and forget to disconnect it, and this may lead to electric fires. So if you are dealing with an electric fire and the fire burn your body, so this is a burn due to electric fire, due to electric energy. So in this case, we can say that this burn is an electric burn. Number 3, from the reasons of electric burn, a part of your body touch an electric machines that generate heat as electric iron or electric heater. So if we have children at home, we have to disconnect all machines that generate heat, all that using electric energy away from babies. So precautions in dealing with electricity. Number 1, don't replace several connections in the same circuit, because as we say, this will cause overload and increasing in temperature, and they may cause electric fire. Number 2, don't insert a metallic object in the socket, because this will cause electric shock. Number 3, don't touch electric machines that connect to electric current with wet hands. Wet hands means that there is water on your body, because this will cause electric shock. This is number 1 and 2 and 3. Don't play with electric connection, and some children do this, so we have to disconnect electric machines. Number 4, we said. Number 5, don't place flammable materials close to electric machines that generate heat, like electric heaters. As we say, don't dry the wet clothes with electric heaters, because this may cause electric fires. Number 6, don't try to fix or clean any electric machines while being connected to electric current. If you want to clean, for example, the electric fan or electric refrigerator or electric oven, you have to disconnect it from electric power. Number 2, don't place the electric wires extending on the ground, because maybe someone is walking and trapping on it, and this may cause electric fire or electric shock. Number 8, don't leave the electric wires naked. Naked mean not insulated. There is no plastic cover it, because this may cause electric shock. Number 9, place a piece of plastic in the socket to prevent inserting another body in it. And this is found in the modern sockets. In the modern sockets, the engineers put a plastic pieces in the socket, because some children use some metallic object and put it in the socket. So this plastic prevent anything to get in the socket. So we are preventing causing of electric shock. So this is the end of our lesson today, and this is the end of Unit 2. Thanks for watching, and see you next video. Welcome back, my dear students. This is Mr. Ahmed Al-Mahallawi with you. And today we are talking about the last lesson in Unit 3, that's called nitrogen. We said before that atmosphere is a mixture of gases around the Earth and stick to Earth by a force called Earth's gravity. And we said that the atmosphere is a mixture of gases like nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide. We said that oxygen percent about 21, and carbon dioxide about 0.03. Now the nitrogen volume is 78%, so it is the most abundant gas in atmosphere, and its structure or its symbol is O2. nitrogen symbol is O2. It found in a diatomic shape, and diatomic mean two atoms. So nitrogen molecule consists of two nitrogen atoms, and its symbol is O2. And the discoverer of nitrogen, the man who discovered nitrogen, his name is Daniel Rutherford. So Daniel Rutherford is the discoverer of nitrogen. Good. If we want to search for nitrogen in nature, we can find it in four places. Number one, in atmosphere. We said that nitrogen gas found in atmosphere with a percentage of 78%. So if you want to collect nitrogen, you can collect it from air. So air is the main source of nitrogen. Good. Number two, nitrogen found in soil, but not in a form of gas, no. Nitrogen found in soil in the form of a chemical substance called nitrogen oxide. And how nitrogen oxide form? It formed during lightning. So during lightning, a reaction occurs between nitrogen and oxygen. They are both gases, and when they react with each other during the lightning, they form a new chemical substance called nitrogen oxide. And nitrogen oxide will dissolve in the water of rains and reach the soil. So again, nitrogen found in air in the form of a gas. And as we will know that nitrogen gas is hardly dissolved in water. But during lightning, nitrogen reacts with oxygen to form a new chemical substance called nitrogen oxide that dissolve in rain and reach the soil. Good. Number three, we can find nitrogen in living organisms tissue. Our bodies is made of muscles, and the muscles is made of protein, and the protein is made of nitrogen. So our bodies contain nitrogen in the form of protein. And most living organism bodies contain nitrogen in their tissues. Number four, in legumes. Legumes are a group of plants like clover, peas, and soybeans, and these plants can make protein. How? They will get nitrogen from air, but not with themselves. They will get it by the help of a bacteria called nuclear bacteria. So again, we can find nitrogen in a group of plants called legumes. Legumes such as clover and peas. But how these plants can get nitrogen from air, and we just said that nitrogen doesn't dissolve in water. So they take the nitrogen with the help of another living organism called nuclear bacteria. Nuclear bacteria lives in their roots, as we say, these white balls found in roots of legumes contain nuclear bacteria. They live in these nodes and get their food from the plant. And in return, they give the plant the nitrogen they fix from air. So they are benefit from each other. The nuclear bacteria take the nitrogen from air and give it to the plant, so the plant can make protein. And in return, the plant gives the nuclear bacteria food and leave it live in their roots. So the plant gives the nuclear bacteria shelter and food, as we see in this figure. So they benefit from each other. And this is in legumes only. Good. So we can find nitrogen in air with a percentage of 78, and nitrogen found in soil in the form of nitrogen oxide that formed during lightning, and the nitrogen found in living organisms tissue because it helps in formation of protein like muscles in our body. And also some plants use the nitrogen found in air by the help of nodular bacteria, and these plants called legumes. Okay. Now let's talk about nitrogen properties. Number one, nitrogen is a colorless, tasteless, and odorless. So it is like oxygen. Number two, it doesn't help in burning. So it is called azote. Azote, it is a Latin name, mean lifeless, because it doesn't help in burning. Number three, nitrogen, like oxygen, is scarcely or hardly dissolved in water. So three properties of nitrogen: colorless, tasteless, odorless, doesn't help in burning, so it's called azote, and hardly dissolved in water. This is the end of our lesson today. Thanks and see you later.